Today I'm working in the depot workshop converting an 1100 class GP20 to a 3000 class GP20u. Around 1955, a turbocharger was added to a GP9. The experiment successfully increased the horsepower from 1750 to 2000. EMD had been reluctant to try turbocharging their 567 engines because they feared it would increase maintenance cost. But the experiment ultimately became the birthplace of EMD's new turbocharged GP20 locomotive in 1960. EMD's marketing campaign focused on the fact that 3 GP20s could do the work of 4 F3s. Santa Fe ordered 25 of the new GP20s in May of 1960 and would eventually have 75 of them by 1961. Santa Fe had traded in their FTs, and EMD used the square journaled box trucks from the FTs on the new GP20s. The new GP20s came with a sloped hood and were painted in the blue and yellow freight scheme. They were numbered in the 1100 class, units 1100 through 1174. The FT trucks had over 1 million miles on them, but after rebuilding they served on the GP20s until the Santa Fe's rebuilding program began in 1970 at the San Bernardino shops. In 1969, Santa Fe had a general renumbering program, and the 1100 class became the 3100 class. The 3100 class were all painted in the Yellow Warbonnet scheme at the San Bernardino shops, but mostly retained their original features except for a rotating beacon added to the cab roof. Another rebuild program was started on the GP20 3100 class in 1977. The rebuilding took place at the San Bernardino shops between 1977 and 1981. As the units were completed, they were designated as GP20Us, the U meaning upgraded, and assigned to the 3000 class in the 3000 to 3074 series. The upgrade included the following. Number 1, cab air conditioning. Number 2, upgraded engines. Number 3, GP39-2 electrical components. Fourth was relocation of the horns and rotating beacon. Fifth, the footboards were removed. 6, Sinclair radio antennas were added. And 7, some of the units received smoke lifters. The GP20u rebuilds served Santa Fe until the merger with the Burlington Northern in 1995. Now let's go get busy on the conversion. I will be converting our 1100 class lifelike GP20 number 1132 to a GP20u 3000 class with unit number 3050. This conversion is very similar to the GP30u conversion done in episode 3, except that this conversion does not require snow shrouds. Welcome to the depot workshop. I have already started working on the GP20u conversion, and I will go back and review what I've already done. The reason I started and didn't do it on camera was because I wasn't originally planning on doing this video. I thought that it would be too similar to the GP30u conversion that I did in episode 3, and I didn't think it would be necessary to do this because it would be almost identical to the GP30u conversion. But as I got into this, I noticed some things that are different, and so we're going to go ahead and do the video, and I'll show you what these differences are. For one thing, there's some kind of a air intake cabinet here on both sides of the long hood, and it's sticking out about 1/8 of an inch. Eventually that's where the Warbonnet decal goes, so that decal is going to have to conform to the shape of that grill cabinet, and that might be a little difficult. We'll just have to kind of see how that works out. But so far, I removed all the cab handrails, not cab handrails, but engine handrails, except the ones here on the back porch. Those can stay because we're not doing any repainting or anything back here on this end. But we got the front handrails off, the side handrails on both sides. Get them out of the way so we can work. I also removed the light bar, and that's a one-piece unit that distributes the light to the number boards and the 2 headlights. I already have that taken out, and have scraped the old numbers off, the old 1132 number off of the light bar number board areas, so we can put the new one on. I removed the horn, which is located right here, back to this position. Also, I first thought that the GP20Us didn't have any smoke lifters, but I just found some photographs of real GP20Us with smoke lifters. But unlike the GP30U smoke lifters, which are 2-piece, there's a long section and a short section on the GP30. The GP20U has one continuous smoke deflector. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. The GP20 did not have any snow shrouds. At least I've never seen a picture of a GP20 with snow shrouds over these intake grills. So we will leave that off. That's one of the differences between the 2 units. I will be removing the footboards, front and rear. And another thing that I have already done is I have painted this, the end of this hood was yellow, and I took the blue all the way out to the end and over the edge a little bit, so that when I put my masking on this top of this hood, I can do the yellow band that's supposed to be around this short hood. And by doing the blue first, it makes this easier to do. One of the other differences that we have between the GP20 and the GP30, on the GP30 I took out all of the window glass, and when I took out the side windows here, the silver frame is still in the opening. On the GP30, that silver frame came out with the window. So it didn't really do me much good to take this side window out, because I still have to mask off that frame to keep it civil while I paint this entire cab yellow. I found out when I masked off the windshield yesterday, when I painted this hood blue, because I didn't want to get paint on the glass, And later when I peeled the masking off, a little bit had blown under there. I guess I didn't have it sealed quite good enough. But I found out that I can take some 90% isopropyl on a brush and brush on that glass, and it'll take that paint off without harming the glass. So maybe that'll help us over here on this window problem too. But I think I will cut a piece of masking tape just to fit around that silver area to block that off, so that when I paint this cab yellow, that silver will still be there. Another thing I did off camera was I've already blanked out the number boards on the rear, just like they did on the prototype. So the handrails are a Durlin type plastic, and typically those are very hard to paint. But Lifelike has already painted them blue, so I found that on the GP30 I could paint them yellow without any problem, since they've already got the blue paint on there, and that sticks. So I'm not trying to stick directly to the Durlin plastic, which is very slippery, and paint just doesn't like to stick to it. In the old days, the Floquil paints would work very well on handrails, but Floquil is now out of business. And of course nowadays we're using acrylic paints, and so it's good that the handrails are already done blue by Lifelike, so that my yellow will stick to them better with the airbrush. On the GP30 I ended up doing them with a brush, but we've got a little more forethought together on this project, and I'm going to be doing them with the airbrush. But I had to do these on the back here with the brush because I didn't want to take them off. When you take them off, you run the risk of breaking them, and it's just better if you don't. The less you handle them, the less chance you have of something getting broken. So the next thing we're going to do here is probably make this masking for these windows so that we can get this thing painted yellow like it's supposed to be. I'm probably going to go to CAD software on the computer, measure these window openings, print out a CAD replica just the right size, and use that CAD template for a template to cut my tape so it'll be exactly the right size. So I'll be back. Okay, we're starting to mask off the stuff that we don't want to paint yellow. And since I was on camera last, I found out a really neat way to mask off windows. And that is through my wife's silhouette machine. She showed me how to take the tape and feed it into the machine and let the machine cut out the window openings. It even puts the little curves or the little rounded corners on the windows. It's fantastic. So it's always better if you can take those pieces of glass out, then you can just spray and don't have to worry about it. But if you can't take them out, that's the next best way to do it. It would have taken me hours probably to fit that by hand, and the machine does it in a few minutes. It's really a nice deal. I'm going to do a video about how I do this on the silhouette machine coming up, so stay tuned for that. But right now I've got all the windows masked off. I've got this hood masked off so that we can shoot all this yellow, and but we just need to cover up the blue part that we don't want to paint yellow. So let me continue doing that. I like to use this nice wide tape. Because it covers a pretty good size area all at once. And I need to put some tape right here on this side area and on this walk board, or walkway. Yeah, I think I've got some 1/2 inch wide tape that'll be just about right for that. So I think we're pretty well ready to go. Cover this walkway up. There will be that. I won't worry about these walkways because we'll just rebrush them. They'll look okay because they got diamond plate pattern on them. And I need to take these footboards off. So let me go off camera and do that real quick. First, I'm going to hit it with a light coat of gray. That helps the yellow cover the blue better. Okay, now we'll change over to the yellow. looks nice. Still see the silver frame. That one too. Very happy with that masking. Very nice. Now the hood. Beautiful. Do a little touching up with a brush on the walkways and steps, and that'll be good. I think that's got it all. Let that cure a day or two, and we'll be ready to put the decals on. Putting a little primer on these yellow walkways that are supposed to be blue. Using the brush to work it in there. The gray primer helps keep the yellow from affecting the blue. when you put blue and yellow together, it has a tendency to kind of go green on you. So to prevent that, we put the gray primer on there. Just takes a little patience and kind of a steady hand. Which at my age is kind of comes and goes. The biggest mistake people make when they're brushing paint on is they don't keep their brush wet enough. You want your brush as loaded as you can get it without it dripping. We got some overspray on this pilot, so I'll hit that a little bit. Got to put some on the steps here. The blue part of the step. There's a little bit of fine overspray on this deck right here, so I'm going to go ahead and gray it out. And on this drop plate, just cover up anything that is supposed to be blue that has yellow on it. It's looking pretty good. Everything back here is okay because it, oh, I got some steps right here. Now, when that dries a little bit, we can go over that with the blue, and it'll be done. I think we got that pretty good. We'll let that sit a minute, and then we'll hit it with the blue. All right, that's pretty much ready for a decal. Okay, we got our decal loose. Put some solution on here. Trick is getting it to fit around this electrical cabinet or air intake cabinet or whatever this is here. I need to cut it right there. That's going to be kind of hard to do. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Not bad at all. Let's see if I can get some setting solution on that now without moving it. Let me try this. Try this other brush. That makes that decal shrink down around that plastic. So far, so good. Let it sit a few minutes and see if it'll settle down. have to touch up a few spots with blue paint, but overall it's in pretty good shape. That's better. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let that rest a little bit. I was going to show you how I put the air conditioner onto this curved roof. This the GP20 has a curved roof as opposed to a flat roof that most locomotives have. So I just kind of set the air conditioner up there where it would go. And then I took a pencil and kind of just marked the shape. Onto the air conditioner. It doesn't take very much to do it. And then I found that this Dremel tool, little drum sander, let's see, it's about 9/16 in diameter. And it was just right to just kind of concave that slightly. With the Dremel tool, you might want to put it in a small vise to hold it while you do that. But if you're careful, you can kind of do it by hand like this and put it on low speed and just gently take some of that out. And then you can put it back up there and try it, see how it works. If it needs a little bit more, you can do a little bit more. And also you can use a small file that is round on one side and kind of finish it up till you get it to where it fits on there just right. I was initially worried about the Warbonnet decal laying down around these louvers real good, and it turned out really nice. The decal setting solution I use works very good, and I use I believe this is made by Tamiya, distributed by Tamiya America. It's called MarkFit Decal Solution, and in the decal portion of my video you notice that I put some of this on first, then I lay the decal, get it where I want it, and then I put another pretty heavy solution on top of the decal, and then after that you don't touch it, you just let it set. And it looks like it's not doing anything. It looks like the decal is just bubbled up and it's not working. But 5 minutes or 10 minutes later, you'll come back and it starts shrinking down, and the result is very, very good. I'm just really pleased with how the solution works, and it worked good on both sides, and it almost looks like it's vacuum formed on there. So it does an amazing job. I'm not sponsored by Tamiya or any other company, but I like to tell you about things that work well, and this works very well on decals. There's supposed to be a beacon right here, which I opted not to put in on because the Lifelike Proto 2000 model has a light bar, and some of that plastic goes way back over here. And to put a beacon on there, I would have to drill through that light bar, and that would cause problems with the way the light comes through. So I opted to eliminate the beacon, rotating beacon. And they were taken off anyway. This GPU rebuild was done in '82, and they were taken off anyway a few years later, around '85, '86. They took them off of all the locomotives. So it's not that big a deal. The smoke lifters on the GP20 are taller than they are on the GP30 because this turbocharged exhaust stack on the GP20u is higher off the roof deck than the GP30, so the smoke lifters have to be a little higher. This is the size styrene that I used for the GP20u smoke lifters. It's item number 129, 0.020 by 0.250. And works perfect for the smoke lifter scale. Here's a useful tip. If you have a model with Durlin handrails and they get misshapen and or working in too tightly to the body, or just look generally out of shape, you can take a hair dryer and put it on low and start warming up the handrail, and as you do that you can just kind of gently reshape it the way you want it to be, and just gently do it. Don't get it too hot, but you'll just kind of get a feel of how much to do it, and just kind of keep working it until you get it shaped back the way you need it. After I got the model all finished, put together, weathered, put it on the layout and started running it, when it got up above about 5 miles an hour or so, it started squeaking, and it seemed to be running slower than other locomotives. So I brought it back to the workbench and took the shell off to see if maybe a wire got pushed against the flywheel or something that would restrict the motor turning freely. Took it apart and couldn't find anything. So I ended up taking the covers off of the trucks on the bottom here and looked at the gears, and when I got that open, the gears were very dry. And so now this locomotive is made by Lifelike. The GP30 that I did in episode 3 is also made by Lifelike. They're the Proto 2000 series, so they're highly detailed ones. But I was surprised to see there was a little bit of grease in there, but not very much. So I just added some light oil on the gears and put the thing back on, put the chassis on the track and run it a little bit to work in the oil, and it eliminated the squeaking noise. The slow running was due more to a voltage problem, so I had to adjust the mid and high voltage a little bit in the decoder to get it to speed up equally with the other locomotives that I use in this consist when I run this. But now everything is running perfect, and we're really enjoying getting to use the locomotive and having a GP20u version like Santa Fe had. If you would like to have a GP20u or a GP30u on your layout and you don't feel confident that you can make one yourself, contact us through the email or through our website email, either one. And I believe my phone number is even on my Facebook page. And the Facebook page is Santa Fe's Raton Subdivision Model Railroad. And there'll be a way you can contact us in there. And we will give you a quote on building one for you, just like this one. In this photo, you can see that I have the model completed. The air conditioner is in place on the cab roof, as well as the antenna platform. Cab shades have been added, and of course the handrails all the way around the locomotive. Then directly behind the cab we have the smoke lifters installed. This photo shows the engineer's side, so you can see the detail a little better. Then this photo was taken on the layout, doing a side shot, and then a little bit raised version of the same shot, and then a 3/4 view shot with the headlight on, then a rear 3/4 view shot. So now let's watch GP20u number 3050 in action. Going up Raton Pass, and then later in this video sequence you will see the unit coming down the pass in dynamic braking. Directly behind 3050 is GP30u 2756 that we did in another video. So thanks for watching, and come back and see us.